Hello?
Hello. I'm going to put on my headset here so you get better sound.
Yeah, I was planning to do that today too, but fun fact, I just used, whoops. I just used my, the Fitness Protection Amazon account to buy something for Susan a while back, and I forgot to change, it changes the settings every time I make a purchase for reasons I don't understand, unlike a personal account. So the headphones basically went to Susan, and I'm like, that's not useful, Amazon, thanks.
Okay, whoops. Well, so we'll have those in a month's time or so.
That, I went ahead and ordered a second pair just because of that.
They're pretty good about returns, so there's that.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm like, it was a $30 set of headset. I didn't want to go crazy with it, so because again, my fear is I'm going to end up with the second. Oh, maybe I should unplug that. Okay. My fear is I'm going to end up with the second thing that I can't use. So the first microphone that I purchased is awesome, but it's way too sensitive. It's so sensitive that it picks up one of the kids farts in the room behind me. What is going on? Sorry, hang on just a second. My computer is not complying.
Okay.
With Facebook Live.
Okay, I gotta get on. Oh my gosh. Facebook notifications are my new work email. It's like I was here 5 minutes ago and now there are 13 new notifications. Like, what? Okay. Oh, actually, most of these are like from a while ago.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to turn off my Zoom video. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, yeah, I can still hear you, but I don't have your video, so that should mean that you're good to go live. Yay, Coach MK is live.
Yay. I'm going to reload over here. Sorry. Like, I already lost. The two people watching on Twitch are like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm like, I can't blame you.
Guys, it's 7:01. You're okay. You're okay.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. Plus, we're getting a tornado here right now, which is like...
What?
I know, right? Apocalypse now, anyone?
Oh my god. So, like, is it going to come close to you?
I mean, it's supposed to. You can hear... The thunder's pretty rad, and so is the lightning, so... And it's really dark.
That's crazy. It was just insanely hot here today, although it kind of cooled off towards the end, but for most of the day it was just really strong sun, super humid. Yeah. So we went out to ice cream with this friend of Roz's, and then they ended up coming over to play in our inflatable pool, and then they ended up staying for dinner, and it was really fun, and I'm very glad that all came together that way. And now we have a room full of kids and a kitchen full of dishes, and none of it's my problem, which is great. Couldn't be better. All right, now I'm going to try to bring up the forms. Let's see. So I guess no one's having a cookout outside with the tornado coming?
No. Okay, we're going on now, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. Hi, it is, it's Coach MK, and Coach Sarah is joining us remotely as well. And sorry for the noise. You're going to hear a lot of it, but... As I was just telling Coach Sarah, we're getting a tornado here in Denver, which is really random and weird, things that have not happened for as long as I've lived here. But yay, it's about to happen now, so I apologize in advance for all of the noise. Obviously, I can't control it, but insane. We had snow last week, which was officially the latest that snow has been on record for Denver, and that's saying something. And that the ski areas are still open because they got dumped on so badly. They've extended their last date from... May till mid-June. I mean, it's just crazy. It feels very like end of times. It just makes no sense. But hi, I'm saying hi to both cameras. If you have questions, hello. If you have questions, the best place to put them is in Twitch. Twitch is always going to be my preferred medium of communication because it is really just a superior player and a superior communication experience. Plus, it happens over here next to me, while in a minute I'm going to switch away from this camera here on Facebook so that I can read the questions from Ask the Coach. So, there you go. If those of you just joining, my name is Coach MK. I'm a run coach based in Denver, Colorado, and I'm the founder of the Fitness Protection Program, www.fitnessprotection.com. Clearly, if you're here, you already know that, so I'm not going to waste a lot of your time. This is the question and answer session that happens every single Sunday or at the same time, usually hosted by me, co-hosted by Coach Sarah, but sometimes she grabs it for me so that I can have a night off, which is nice. Thank you for that, Coach Sarah.
And MK does the same for me too, much more often actually, so thank you, MK.
Thank you. Oh my God, go team. Yay! So I'm going to start moving quickly through the questions. I've got one good one in the inbox that I want to read first, and then I'm going to go through the questions second in rebuild, and then finally in maintain. And once all that is done, we'll chop it up in Twitch. We will then create 3 different highlights so you can find, you have an easy and quick reference for where your answer is. Yet another reason why I prefer Twitch over everything else. It's not easy to do that in YouTube if you're not an editor, and things I don't have time to learn right now. That's on the list. So we will cut this into segments, and we will put each segment in the appropriate Facebook group for tomorrow morning. And the content will live forever on the Coach MK YouTube channel, but starting June the 1st, we're going to be switching over to the Fitness Protection Programs channel and start separating that out a little bit from the Coached and Loved content, things that come directly from me and Coach Sarah, like the Morning Mantra Pod, and the things that we put on Instagram, versus the things that are company specific and that are part of the paid programs that our clients enjoy. So really separating kind of, the personal platform from the business platform and the communication there to make it a little bit easier for everyone involved. So, hope that helps. Yay! That is what I spent my day doing. And I'm like, my brain kind of hurts a little bit from moving things over. This belongs here. This belongs here. Make sure you have Toto in a safe place. Yeah, oh my gosh. It is so bad here. So Mama Hawk says, hello, MK. Make sure you have Toto in a safe place. It's raining and snowing in Northern California too. Yeah, it is bad. It's bad here. The storm... We don't get storms like this in Colorado. We do, and they pass over in 10 minutes. The running joke is like it's a Colorado, it's a spring afternoon in Colorado where it just rains and we get the crazy hail. But this is over the top and out of control a little bit. Oh, and before I go any further, big thank you to everyone that bought something today for the one day only sale that is happening over in our Threadless shop. If you didn't get the communication, I have no idea how, because I accidentally sent that to my Christmas card list. I'm a little embarrassed. I had a whole bunch of people opting out, and I'm like, I got so many opt-outs that I got a warning, and I took around and I looked in Constant Contact and was like, oh, oops. I can totally understand that. That was funny. So, apologies about that if you got that and you didn't mean to. But if you haven't heard, I actually do have a very small online drop ship style merchandise shop. The quality is the best that I could find of all the drop ship type shops out there. Better than Custom Ink by far. And today they're having a one day only sale. I don't get to control when the sales happen. That's all operated by Threadless, who's the merchant. So they told us like 2 days ago, like, hey, guess what? Go tell your people there's going to be a sale. And I didn't pay any attention. And then I was like, oh, it's a discount on everything plus free shipping. Okay, well, so I pushed it out to everyone, hit the send button too quickly, and sent it to everyone, including my Christmas card list. So my mailing list is now a little bit smaller. But that's okay. There's just fewer Christmas cards I'll have to send this year. Whatever. Who knows? Those people will probably sign up for it again when the Google Doc goes back up. You never know. So there's that. So the Threadless shop, it's fitnessprotection.threadless.com, and if you use the code FREESHIP619, you get free shipping. And the price, I think the free shipping continues for another week or two, but the price markdown is today only, and the price is reset to regular prices at midnight. It's not a huge discount, but it's something. I know plenty of people, it's not about the size of the discount, but they just out of principle, they will not purchase something without a markdown. So if you're one of those people, and you really want a Coached and Loved shirt or the super cool Fitness Protection shirt, you can go get that now, and I promise I'm never going to bring that store up again. It is there if you guys want to have it. I'm not here to push products, just to facilitate. So, hi, I'm Kate. Glad I can be here tonight. Yes, Kenny K15. I'm going to I'm going to go in my inbox first. Thank you so much. We're going to try to stay safe. I've got somewhere to go after this tonight, and we'll see. I have a feeling the other person's going to cancel, but this sounds worse than it looks, to be honest. It's just really, really loud. All right, hopping over first to the inbox. Hi, Coach MK. I have many questions and was going to put it in the Ask the Coach form, but was concerned it was too lengthy. I realize that you are crazy busy, and if you're unable to answer this email, I completely understand. Thank you very much for understanding that, by the way, you guys. I get a lot of email, and I don't have a lot of bandwidth to go through all the email. Plus, Most of my emails tend to be very long. So this is not something that's going to change. It is always going to be faster and easier for me to read and just like sort of perform my answer through a live stream than it would be to give a long, sensitive answer in written format. And maybe that's just because I suck at writing. That's entirely possible. But I understand how emotionally loaded a lot of these questions can be. And if you can't hear my voice reading that email out loud in the back of your head, things can be misunderstood. They can be misinterpreted. And I really don't want that. I feel like if I'm answering it here, I would rather lose your attention than hurt your feelings if I write it and I'm not able to capture all the nuance and the head nods and the inflections in my voice with words and all caps and emojis and stuff. So, oh yeah, thank you for the correction. Yeah, the free ship is only for $45, orders of $45 or more. Thank you. I'm horrified and embarrassed about that. I think that's why I blocked it out. That was a detail I missed when I pushed that all out last night. So if you're going to the Threadless shop to place an order, free ship, 619, that only works on orders $45 or more, and international orders of $80 or more. Sorry about that, and I apologize. I missed that in the communication. My new Polar is amazing. Remind me, and I will come back to that at the end. I really like it. Yes. All right, so back to the email. I started off in Rebuild and will be switching to Maintain in June. And which is easy to do, by the way. We're making a change in the way the programs are presented in June, and yay, Rebuild's in beta, so we can do that. So what we've decided to do is just open up all programs to everyone. You're not going to follow 2 programs, and if you were really going to take 2, hoard 1, you were probably never going to pay me anyway. So the way it's set up, you can go back there and take a look at both programs. You can put one in Training Peaks, print it out, put the other one in Training Peaks, print that out, look at them side by side, decide which one is really you, if that's how you need to go about it. I go, with the videos that'll be accompanying them, I go out of my way to really describe the difference between the two, but I know that the way I look at things is not the way you guys look at things. You guys want to know, well, how many days per week? They're all 5. Which one's going to have me ready for this? Neither. Which one does this? Neither. But because the way that I think about things is so different, it makes it, logically follows that the way I present my programming would be very different too. So I'm going to everyone will have access to everything in the membership area of the site, at least at this point in time with the basic version for $30 a month auto subscription. And then you'll have both programs laid out. You'll have access to all the videos. You'll have access to all the codes. And then this really puts the control in your hand. At the beginning of each month, you can ask yourself what I consider to be the central question. What do I want to do? And there might be some months where you have more bandwidth and you want to do more running related fitness work. And there might be some months where you're just like, I'm hanging on for dear life. I know that now, and would rather choose to do less and stay on the bus than shame myself into doing more, knowing that I'm not going to be able to execute it all and will be frustrated because I'm a box checker and will be not doing anything by the end of the first week. So just to make that really clear, switching to Maintain sounds like a thing, but it's really not. We're making it as easy as possible for everyone. So I haven't stopped running, but I seem to have lost the love of running. If it wasn't for my BRFs, I probably wouldn't have run as much as I did. I did a half in October using one of your plans, and it went well. I also did a Ragnar in November. Starting in mid-September, life started handing me crap until about March of this year. That is just how it goes sometimes. That is so true. I planned to do a half in the spring and was going to try a different heart rate program. Trying to figure everything out was stressing me out. My chest would get tight and I felt behind. It was just not good. So I kicked the fucking bucket and went back to what I knew. I love it when my people quote me, and I talk about kicking the fucking bucket all the time. It's one of my favorites. So, easy effort runs at 140. Yay! I had no time goals for the half in May, just a fun girls weekend. So now that you have a little history, here are some of my burning questions. I don't know how to get my motivation back. I struggle getting out there, and now that summer and gross humidity is on the way, it'll be even harder. My kids are grown, and I don't have that time suck. I get home from work and want to do nothing. Any ideas? So the first thing there, and I really want to emphasize this because it's shaming to live in the should, and that's how most of us were raised. We were raised with a healthy combination of guilt and shame, like you should want to help your mother. Good people want to help others. And that sort of thing lives in the back of your head because nobody really truly wants to be a horrifying person. And what's really interesting now with peak TV, you can see all of these totally unsympathetic characters that have no idea how terrible they are. And that really is reflective of life. No one wakes up and says, I'm just going to suck today. And that includes you. If you've fallen off the wagon for any reason, when life gets in the way, when it grabs you by the face and will not let go, that ability to just keep getting out of bed the next morning might be all you can manage. Never mind fitness, never mind a run plan. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to present things in a different way. That kind of, which at least with this, the way that we present it here at Fitness Protection, you get to hit the reset button on the first of every month. And that's very much how I look at it. That's what you're paying for. If you were to miss 3 weeks in the middle of a 20-week or a 24-week or even a 16-week training plan, that's a big chunk of the plan. Now we have to change your expectations. And now you're going to feel like, and I wasted my money, and I wasted my time, and this time is gone and I can't get it back, and. And that's really the wrong way to look at it. The way I prefer to look at it is, I've been doing this for a while. I've been here for a while. I'm doing the best I can. So when the calendar resets, so will my attitude and so will my priorities, and I'm making myself the number one priority. So to that end, I want to be very, very clear that you need to forgive yourself for kind of being here a little bit, because I'm a self-motivated person. I know that everyone here is a self-motivated person. You're not here because you're lazy, stupid, or lack motivation. You did not get to where you are right now because there's something wrong with you. But that's how we feel. We assign moral value to this. Like, I just don't want to run. That means I'm lazy. I don't want to work. That means I'm lazy. That's not accurate. Everything is easy when you're already fit. Everything is impossible and it feels like a mountain to climb when you're not. Not trying to make this about me, but I'm not going to hesitate to talk about me if that can draw a straight line from me to you in a way that would be helpful. All of the things that I do, the things I've done my whole life, the things that I've preached, the practices that I preach and have preached in previous training programs, I've been completely unable to execute for the better part of 2 years. It's a long time. Being in bed that long is a long, crushing thing to do. That's a lot of muscle mass lost. So when I finally got better and finally turned the corner and finally started getting out of bed and doing things for longer periods, I was the least fit I'd ever been. And I did not want to get up at 6 a.m. and go for a run around Denver, knowing that I'm pulling like more really slow miles. Because it's one thing to run quickly. It's another thing to run so slowly at an easy effort where you're not making a lot of body heat and you're not getting really warm, to be really slow and freezing in the cold with the wind in your face at 6 a.m. and in the dark. Not wanting to do that does not mean that there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean you don't want it enough. That is a horrible, terrible, sucky situation. And I totally get it. So now with summer and gross humidity is on the way, yeah, it's definitely going to be harder, but I want to kind of like validate you first before you go any further. It's really important to understand everything is easy when you're already fit. When you're not where you want to be yet, that's when it's work. That's when it's not fun. And that's when it's really hard. So there's not something wrong with you for lacking motivation. What you just described is a pretty crappy situation. That does not sound fun to me. So yeah, I mean, your kids are grown. You don't need an excuse to not want to do something that's not fun and sucks. So I get it. If you get home from work and you want to do nothing, I mean, and I certainly would not want to go running in the heat and humidity of the afternoon. The thing about the afternoon that I dislike so much is that it's the worst part of the day. And we tend to forget that, especially here in Denver. Like in the morning, it might be 63 and really, really nice by like 8 or 9 a.m. But then by 3 o'clock, it is blazing hot. It can feel like 93 in the sun. And if you're somewhere further south in Denver, it's got to be worse than that. So I would let yourself off the hook for that, number one. I would not want to go running with my head in an oven either. That sounds terrible, and that sounds kind of like what you described. So the first thing about getting the motivation back is we need to find a way to make this fun. I remember when I was coming back from my third pregnancy, and I just started coaching, what made it fun for me was to get on a treadmill. And as counterintuitive as that sounds, there was something magic about the treadmills at Lifetime Fitness and Centennial at 3 a.m. when I would get on them and there was no one there and no one could talk to me and I wasn't Coach MK. I was just some woman trying to get some work done. I could go and I could throw on my headphones and not have to worry, because there are very few places as a runner where you can wear headphones and be okay. But I would get on that treadmill and find myself running faster than I was on the road. So even though it was a gigantic pain in the booty to get there, And it sounds terrible. Why would you get up at 3 in the morning on a Saturday? It was really easy to do because it was the only time during the week that running was really pleasant. And if I could have done that more frequently, I really, really would have. But my husband travels for work, so it didn't. So let's find the equivalent of that for you. If that, in these conditions, if running in the morning when it's less bad is not an option, then maybe we do it in the afternoon. And if we do it in the afternoon, then let's do it indoors. And if we can't, if none of this is an option, then we need to start troubleshooting and thinking a little bit differently. Maybe running isn't the answer for now. Maybe we try getting on a bike. Let's think about what you can do and what's accessible. And I know here I am, a running coach, just told you to get on a bike, but I don't want you to stop moving, and I don't want you to give up fitness completely. If we can't find a way to work running into your schedule or find a way to do it that makes it interesting. We have a lot of people that say when they get on the treadmill, they hate the treadmill so much they have to reward themselves. So they make it interesting by, watching guilty pleasure television, whether that's The Wire or the Kardashians or the Real Housewives. They watch something that they would not watch at home, either because they don't want their kids to watch it or because they don't want to fight for the remote control when The Bachelor comes on. I hate that show, by the way. I will not watch it, but that's me. No judgment if you do. So even if it's like a forbidden pleasure or something like that, that's fine. I don't really kind of care what the thing is. There is no right way to go about it, and it's not lesser that you have to incentivize yourself to do it. If it sucks, let's find a way to make it suck a little bit less, and I promise that is going to make your attitude towards it. Once it sucks less, your attitude towards it's going to open up, and you're going to find yourself thinking more about how to get it done or how to do more of that. And that's this mental shift we need to take in order to really get our motivation back, because we've got to find some way to make this fun, and I hope some of those ideas help. The next question. I need more strength, and I'm sure Maintain will not disappoint. Ha! It won't. How many times can I do the strength circuit? Well, in Maintain, you get 4 strength circuits that progress throughout the month if you need them to. And again, this is guided DIY. You can do week 1 over and over and over and definitely get something out of it. You don't have to make the movements harder every week if your body isn't there yet. Like it's better to make your body where it's at and challenge it a little bit than to reach for something you can't grab and get nothing out of the movement. So we give you options to upgrade through the month, but you don't really have to. And I hate the word progress. I hate it. Because when we're thinking about progress, we're usually thinking about things that can be quantified, standardized, measured, and shown in like digital form. So when we're talking about something like, I just liked it more, that's soft and that's not numbers and it don't count for some reason, which I just think is really stupid. So we don't look back and be like, give ourselves credit for the work that we actually did. And anyway, so without going on, I don't like thinking about progress, because if you've done the same exercise series in week 4 that you did in week 1 and you have not added on layers of complication to the moves, that you have not failed to progress. Does that see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I do that. It is still hard, man. It's still hard in week 2. It's still hard in week 4. Progressions are great and everything, but my butt hurts really bad, and I have not progressed on all the exercises, believe me.
Yeah, and even if you're doing one set every single day, there's no guarantee that when week 2 comes around, you'll be ready for what the step up is. The reason that we present it in this way is that we have the week 1 of every program is the base week. And if you want more work the next week, it's there for you. If you don't have to take it. I want to have the widest gateway possible that will let everyone in and let everyone find something for themselves each month. And this is the easiest way to do it. So you want more? Here's more. Careful what you ask for. But if you don't ask for more, you didn't fail. You didn't fail to progress. You're not behind. You're not lesser in some way. And yeah, if you're here doing the work and you're enjoying what we're doing, then I would argue you're getting your money's worth, because you can get all kinds of run plans for free. I got books. You can go on Amazon, you can get books, you can have plans at your fingertips. The difference is really the community having the coach to answer the questions at your disposal, and someone that's going to give you the grace that you need. And I remember when I was standing on the track the time in 2014 when I realized what people were really coming for. It wasn't for guidance. It was to be told that they're okay. And a lot of those really incredible people and overachievers just weren't getting that anywhere else in their life. They just really wanted the validation, like, my work, my effort is worth something. I do belong here. I can do this. And that's really to hear that from a trusted expert is, and to be told, well, here's what you do. I know you can't see the way through, but here is your best next step in my estimation. That is really what you're paying for. I mean, the plan's kind of nominal, you know. So anyway, so how many times can you do the strength circuit? You can do it as many times as you want. If you want to take the first week and just repeat that week over and over, that's fine. If you have a week that you really, really like, and let's say that you really like the Thursday circuit from May, you can keep doing that on Thursdays through June. That's fine. I would ask that you add that in on top of the rest, that you not go replacing or treating the training like a patchwork quilt, because these exercises of these series were put together with thought by a physical therapist with your best interest in mind. So if there's something that you liked in May, carry it over to June and keep doing that too. Throw it in whenever you want. You can do each series up to 3 times a day. The thing to remember is, more is not categorically better if you're tired and you're not listening to your body. We're going to be waking up a lot of muscles. A lot. And like I said, these things are hard. Think about clam day, Sarah. I mean, Sarah and I were not looking forward to Monday clam day.
Oh,
it was pretty bad. Because we have to demonstrate in 2 groups, and both groups had clam day on Monday. So we'd be like a minute of clams, a minute of reverse clams, a minute of full extension clams, which is one then the other. And then I forget what came after that. I was usually ready to cry.
Oh, hip circles. Stand up and do hip circles.
Yeah.
Make your body hold you upright. Yeah.
Yeah, then your booty's got to hold you upright after all those clams.
The other thing that you get for your money is watching me do the strength in my office in the middle of the day in your special Facebook group.
That's true.
And I do not hesitate to tell you when it really hurts, and I hate it, and I hate MK, and I hate everything.
Hate Alex Landon. He put him together to throw him. I mean, he belongs under the bus. So I go in at night and I demonstrate the moves.
They had all these loops on, I think it was Thursday this past week, and it had been a while since I busted out the loops because I just started doing rebuild strength with them in the group recently. And so I had to do like 4 minutes of loops, and I was basically crying. I mean, I was just making terrible noises, and I was in so much pain. It's really hard. It's really hard, but it's really good for you. You get so much out of just a few minutes, and it's fun. It's fun for me to do it live in my office when I know that there are people watching and possibly doing it with me, and people in Maintain who have been doing it with for a while have said that it makes them want to do it more too. It sounds like we're getting pretty good compliance on the strength, so we're hoping to make that really, really consistent in both groups next month.
The feedback on the strength really kind of blew me away. I asked everyone what they thought. Just like send it to me privately and let me know what you want. Because I had not expected 4 circuits in Maintain and 5 circuits in Rebuild. I thought he was just going to give me 1 circuit for each to go through the month. And he really overachieved in that regard. But then the question came, like, how am I going to present this in a way that isn't really overwhelming? So what we came up with, I will demonstrate the moves at night and kind of break down the coaching cues. And then, so that's quick, short, and digestible, 3 to 4 minutes long, tops. And then Sarah would come in and actually go through the 3 or 4 minute circuit, doing it in real time the next day. So that gives you more opportunities to like come say hi to us and interact with us, catch us in between, ask the coach sessions if you have questions, without being overload. But we have a lot of folks that don't use Facebook, so I'm going to be putting some videos on the YouTube page as well, and that will all go live on June the 1st. So all that just to say, you can do the strength circuit realistically up to 3 times. More than that is not better, because remember, you've got 4 circuits per week in Maintain and 5 circuits per week in Rebuild. And there comes a point where more is just the equivalent of standing in front of your child and screaming. I mean, when you do that, they're like, you really get their attention, you scare them to death, right? Their brains can't process anything that you just said, because you've completely overloaded their central nervous system, and they're just like operating on like, oh my God, what is happening? It's not a healthy thing. And effectively, when we can hit that point with strength exercises too, where you're just overloading your central nervous system and nothing good is coming from it. So that's something to think about. Go at your own pace, do as much as you want to do, but more is not categorically de facto always better in every case. Listening to your body is the most advanced thing you can do.
And people, I have to say, I just want to say real quick on that note, people are doing an awesome job of that. I have been so impressed in both Rebuild and Maintain, but especially Maintain, because Maintain has some pretty hard workouts on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Yes.
I'm so impressed with the number of people who are like, yeah, you know what, this wasn't the right thing for me today, I just went easy effort. That makes me so happy every single time I see someone say that. I'm just like, yes, that is the hard choice to make. It's the hard choice to just say like, hey, you know what, I know that it says this on my plan, but clearly what I need is something different. So I'm gonna listen to that, and I'm gonna go do that, and I'm not gonna worry that it means anything other than, hey, I'm tired today.
It doesn't mean anything.
I'm just I love that people are doing that. I love that people are really, that they're really thinking and listening, and it's just great. So it's kudos to everybody in Rebuild and Maintain who's just doing an awesome job of listening to their body. I love it.
Yeah, because in those moments, if ever you catch yourself saying, like, I missed my run today, what does that say about me? I missed mine yesterday, what does that say about me?
Right.
Does this mean I can't be your coach anymore because I missed a run? I didn't run today either. What? It doesn't mean, when it becomes a pattern, then we have to kind of adjust some of our, maybe perhaps, some of our expectations if we're in a race cycle. We're not in a race cycle. And that's one of the things when we maintain year round, or we can hit the reset button each month, instead of being like, it's all over, it's like, oh, I can get back in it. It's time. Exactly. And it's just sort of that, having that attitude towards a fresh start makes it a lot easier to keep those things that are important, so that ramping up for a race is short, quick, and really easy to do. Which leads into the next question. You're thinking of a half in the fall, possibly a time goal, but motivation has been low, maybe not a good idea. Or it might be just what I need. My best running friend is pushing for time, but that is a whole other conversation. Do I contact you and then we set up a plan? Unsure how the switch to maintain to half happens. So maintain to half, there's no switching. I'm going to give you, I've got the call with the designer on Tuesday, and I'm making a series of PDFs that will be available to you at will in the membership area of your site, and you can just take it, download the PDF, and work with it from there. So again, it's guided DIY. You can ramp up when you're ready. You need 10 weeks for a full. If you really want to knock out performance, then you need 6 weeks for a half, but to be perfectly honest, you can probably do a half. If you've just been in Maintain for a couple months, you don't even necessarily need the document. It's just really hard to break everyone's thought patterns all at once, like, no, I have to have a build-up. When you look at the long runs you're going to be doing in Maintain, you're going to be ready for a half. All you need to do is complete like 1 month and then not take a month off. You're as good as your last 2 long runs. So if they were in the last 4 weeks, you ran 2.5 hours. No, I don't think you need to then turn around and get into a 6-week plan. You're probably fine for a half because you've been consistent. That's the other power, what a difference a day makes of running 5 days a week, of doing this over and over, of really kind of staying in it and making this the self-care portion of your day. Then we have a lot more options available, and we don't need a full 12 weeks of base building and another of strength building because it's all there. It's already there. So we can cut the rest out and just get to the meat of the plan. So with that in mind, now that's how you do it. The question then becomes, what should I do? Now, it's shaming to live in the should. So any question where I say to myself, like, what should I do? It's just sort of 20 years of therapy. I have now trained myself to sort of rechannel that thought, to be like, oh, gee, what should I do? What do I want to do? And that sort of that makes the question much more interesting, and I'm more engaged in it. Because should is a shame word. Like, I really should clean my house. I don't clean my house. I outsource that shit. I'm like, I really should do the dishes. When I was pregnant this last time, I collapsed on top of the dishwasher when my back gave out. I'm not doing the dishes again, or at least I'm not loading that lower rack ever again, and I'm good with that. I'm not unloading it either. So to that...
MK's right here. You want to come say it? Sorry, Roz is
Hi, Roz.
say goodnight. You keep talking.
Hi, Roz.
She's
Be nice to your mommy.
Hi.
I hope you sleep well, sweet girl.
Hi, I'm Kay.
Hello.
Say goodnight. Yep, that's, you know what?
So your best running friend pushing for time is indeed a separate conversation, because if you're going to run a race with another person, it either has to be your race and you agree to tag along and go with their plan, or vice versa. You really can't, to run with someone else and everything, the stars just kind of align and it kind of works out. That's really rare. It usually doesn't happen, and I would hate for this to cause friction between you and your friends. So going to a race together is one thing. Actually executing the race together is something separate. I would be really cautious about that. But what you really need to ask yourself, what do I want to do? Do you want to do a race? Do you want to do a race with her? I feel like I should say yes, or I feel like if I say no, then that's going to be more effort than saying yes. That's, again, all this is a different conversation. You need to look in here. If you aren't excited about the thing on the calendar, that is not going to bring back your motivation. It is not. In fact, the opposite's going to happen. You might be looking for, like, oh, I hurt my shin. I can't do this thing now. Sorry. Oh, gosh, we going out of town. I can't do this race after all. And then, like, the links to which, and I'm a woman, I get it. We are not always allowed to say no, much less enforce it once it comes out of our mouth in a lot of respects of our life. There are always consequences for it. So, I mean, and not just with dudes, but also with friends. It's a tough thing to be in, a tough place to be. So if you're in a position where you can say no and you don't really want to do it, do it. Don't sort of weasel the no out of this situation by saying yes and then kind of, I watched that happen too. I've seen a lot in my 5 years of coaching, you guys. So that is going to muck up your friendship too, and your own mental health between now and race day. I would argue against doing that. So really, what do I do next? Think about what you want to do. I would argue that the way we set things up in here, we can keep you moving and keep hitting the reset button and find ways to keep you engaged without having to have a race on the calendar. If the race is the only thing that's driving you, then you run the risk of at some point hitting that flexion point where the only reason you're in it is for a PR, because, well, I can't run unless I'm racing. And if I'm racing, then it has to be better than the last one. I can't race casually because otherwise it's not worth all the resources. The logic isn't very good and doesn't lead to a good, safe place that's going to make you happy. There will be no time fast enough. There will be no performance good enough to sort of justify everything you put into it. So these are the moments when I say, thank God we're not elite. We can show up with a bit of a hangover to the start line, even though I don't necessarily recommend it. We can have the beer and the donut the night before and still show up and do great things. So since we have more options available to us and we don't have to live under the pressure, I say buck the pressure. There'll be a time when you're excited, and it will happen, right? As long as you're here and you're moving, it will happen that you're going to hear about an event that you want to join in on. Someone will say, like, someone will have a 50th birthday and be like, hey, let's go run around a parking lot in New Jersey 50 times. And you'll be like, yes! And jump into that and get really excited. And that's so what you're doing is keeping more options open to yourself by being here and by executing any of our plans and kind of staying involved in some way without the pressure of I must do everything as written, but just being here and staying tethered and plugged in. When you find something you're really excited about, the chances are pretty good we can just go do it, and you won't need that much time to ramp up to it. It won't be like, I would love to do that, but I haven't really been running, and so it's gonna take me about 5 months to get ready, and this event's 3 months away. Boom.
Yeah.
You know, and the first thing you're excited about is already out of reach. So that's how I feel about that. I would like to interact more, but sorry, Sarah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that going back to doing the event with your friend, like, you know, there are ways to sort of be there for a friend that they will really appreciate without running the race, like being out there to cheer for them, maybe volunteering at the race. There are lots of ways to participate without putting yourself in that position where you're vulnerable because, you know, you have these expectations, but you're trying really hard not to have expectations because you shouldn't. And I have a very hard time existing in that headspace. I have a very hard time racing and, you know, not performing to the level that I know I'm capable of for whatever reason, or that I know I want to be capable of. I know that that's not a good situation for me. And I think that if I were in your position, I would probably be looking for ways to support my friend and not enter that race, because personally that would be very, very hard to come out of feeling without a mental injury of some kind.
True.
So actually, I think this is Kim here in the comments in Twitch, right? That I'll be turning 50 in July, and it's more important to be fit and fabulous than a time goal.
Yeah.
So we know fit and fabulous. I think we have a recipe for that.
I mean, # strong like Susan. Did y'all see the picture of her? She's the cover right now on the Fitness Protection Facebook page. That's her with the guns. Just saying, she makes 50 look really effing good.
I keep showing it to people, being like, "This is my friend that I went to New Jersey to run with. This is her. Look at her. Look at her.
This is her at like mile 38.
Oh my God! Right? That was a late picture.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I couldn't believe how good
amazing.
she looked when we showed up. She was like upright. She was awesome.
But I mean, the thing about Melissa Yakuzo, when she decided to come, kind of like got in the monthlies, kind of fell off the train a little bit because she got sick, jumped back in, showed up to the race anyway, and then banged out 40 miles. Like, not fully expecting to not be fit enough to finish a half, and she ran 40 miles. So, again, that's the power of what we're doing here, what a difference a day makes, what a difference just the tether and being here, and the reset button every month. It makes a real difference when this is just what we do, as opposed to a ticking clock over your credit card, your calendar, and basically your whole family life. So once we take that pressure away, great things really come out. and it's a lot easier to do. But so I'd like to interact. We can finish this and then move on because it's already 5:40. I'd like to interact more, but with the time difference, I'm not always able to be at my computer to get to Twitch, Facebook. We don't need anyone to drop what they're doing. The way I think of it is this: I'm trying to make myself as accessible as possible without losing my marriage or my kids, or writing emails all day long because I really don't like writing big long emails. So when I go live, it's to give you opportunities to say hi and interact with me. If there's something really pressing that would warrant normally an email, you can catch me. That aside, there's no impetus like you must. Well, if it's a really big deal, I'm going to be showing up, and Coach Sarah will too. That's 2 chances every day to catch a coach. If it's really important, make the effort. Outside of that, if you never do, I would argue this is just us supplementing. Like, you got your money's worth. People have a really odd way of looking at value. Like, well, I never use this and I never use that, so I didn't get my money's worth. I'm like, do you really have to do every single workout on the plan to get your money's worth? I would argue that's not the value of the plan. That has nothing to do with it. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox there. I'm just sort of like, I really feel like that you're looking at it incorrectly if you're finding reasons to opt out before we've even gotten in. $30 a month, I mean, it's really kind of nothing. So with that, I mean, it's money. Don't get me wrong, but it's not. I've paid much more than this for training programs and for coaching. But yeah, no, you don't have to be proactive about getting to your computer and getting on Twitch. I mean, you really don't. You don't have to drop everything and come running every time we go live. Think of it as windows of opportunity to speak to us, and if there's a reason you really need us, that in 6 hours and 12 hours, another window of opportunity is opening. Whereas an email can sit in my inbox for a really long time. And I apologize for that, but I mean, this is, at this price point, we got to do what's easiest for me and is more likely to happen each day than, and plus emails, man. I know people are like, I love texting, I don't like phone calls. I'm like, phone calls and. Nobody likes being on the phone. You know what people love doing? Emails. You know what they love doing? Texts. Text chains, because I always get locked in with people that have to have the last word. So it's like, and it stresses me out. I'm just like, I can't anymore in this chain. I can't. So that's the other thing is, finally, at least with these broadcasts, you know where they're going to start. You have a pretty good idea where they're going to end. So to that effect, it's not pressure to be here or like don't miss it, but rather like come if you can. If you need me, this is where I'll be, and this will, you're guaranteed to get a coach. There are 2 opportunities to get a coach each day. That's it. It's you don't have to use it, but the one time you do, you'll be really glad. You'll be really glad it's there, and you're not waiting a week and a half to find the email that you sent. For me to find the email that you sent me a month ago. Sorry, and I hate that happens, guys. I'm really sorry, but I'm a 1-woman show here. Well, 2-woman show, but there's only so much I can. Coach Sarah isn't getting paid yet. There's only so much I can ask her to do, and manning the inbox and writing emails is not on the list.
Well, and also, if you're in the Facebook group and you're commenting on the daily thread, like I get in there when I can, and I try to engage with everybody who comments. So I know that you can't initiate your own posts, but you can comment on whatever is the current daily thread and know that I will be looking at it.
Yeah.
I'll be looking at it up until I go to bed. And I'm on East Coast time, so if you're not on East Coast, that might be earlier than when you go to bed. But if you comment after I go to bed, I'll see it first thing in the morning, and I'll respond.
Yeah. We've just tried to limit the ways you guys can throw things at us so that we don't miss anything.
So that we don't miss it.
Yeah, because I was missing a lot of things in the past, and people get really mad. Well, I want to send it via carrier pigeon. I'm like, I can't. Well, then you get what you get. Like, you can't have what you want the way you want it all the time. So we're trying to, and we get that it can be really overwhelming. Like, there's a podcast, and there's a blog, and there are these emails, and there's this PDF, and there are these PDFs, and then there's that other PDF, and then she just keeps writing. Oh my God, you know what? I'm just gonna ask right here, and then so rather than overwhelm you with options, we're just gonna open up a few short communication channels to make it really easy for everyone. So yeah, there's no pressure to get there. But now that at the end, now that I typed all this, I feel so needy. Having needs does not make you needy. Having needs does not make you needy. This is what you paid for. This is you getting your money's worth right now, is someone giving a shit, frankly, answering your question, validating where you're feeling, and trying to help you take that trying to figure out what your best next step or your next best step forward is going to be. And, I'm happy to do that. This is why I like what I do, and I'm willing to price it here and just keep doing it into infinity. The chances of everyone having big drama at the same time on the same day are so low that I'm fine to open up. I would rather open up a window every day, a little window every day, than one big window every week where everyone's cramming so much into, and it almost doesn't work. This, so far, the past 2 months have felt like a really well oiled. It's not a perfectly oiled machine, but it's one that's not going to sputter and die when, I don't get into my inbox over the course of a day. So thank you for that question. I hope that answered everything. And it seems like Susan is selling everyone on being 50 and fantastic.
And Susan's coming to Maintain in June. She just said in Twitch.
Shoot,
Yay!
yeah. Yay. I love it. I'm so old. Well, it's tornadoes past y'all. The sun's coming out. You can see it reflected in my glasses.